So your account has been hijacked by someone else and you can't get in. It's a scary time. Don't panic. I'm going to walk you through step by step how to get that account back and how to protect all of your other accounts from getting hijacked as well. Step 1, breathe. Getting your account hijacked is a scary thing, but if you don't panic and follow these instructions, you'll get through it just fine. First thing you're going to do is you're going to try and wrestle back control of that hijacked account. So try and log in. If you can still log in, then reset the password right away. If you can't, try and do forget password and see if you can get it back that way. If that doesn't work either, then you're not screwed. Don't worry. What we're going to do is breathe and make sure that none of your other accounts get hijacked too. Now for this, you're going to need to set aside maybe an hour. We're going to really get down to cleaning everything up. Step 2, contain the damage. Think about the account that got hijacked. What email did you use? What password did you use? What username did you use? And do you have any other accounts that share the same email or username or password? So have a think about that and write it all down. Now go through all of these accounts and starting from your most important one to the least important. What we're going to do is we're going to do 3 things. And if your email is in one of these accounts, do your email straight away. Your email is your most important account because that's where all the password resets go to. So do that first. First, we're going to change the password. To set a really good new password, you want it to be long, you want it to be random, and you want it to be unique. So you don't want to share the same password between websites or accounts. And to do this really easily, you can do it with a password manager. Now, I've done a video before on how to use password managers and how to do good passwords, so you can check that out if you want. But the gist of it is that you should only have to remember one really long, really secure master password. And then the computer, the password manager, will remember all of your other passwords. So you remember one really secure one and the computer remembers the rest. You can find free password managers. They come with your browser, so Firefox and Chrome both do their own password managers. You can also get a third-party password manager. I use 1Password, not sponsored. They don't know me. There's LastPass, there's other stuff like Dashlane and KeyPass, and there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. Some of them you might have to pay for, and I would recommend, if you can afford it, to pay for a password manager. It's a really good investment. You can get on a family plan and share it with your family or your trusted friends. If you can't spring for a paid password manager, just use the one in Chrome or Firefox. It should do you for now. I made a video before on how to choose a really, really strong password, so you can check that out if you want. But the idea is basically to make it long, make it either easy to remember or, put it in a password manager, and to make sure you don't share passwords between websites. Cool. Second thing you're going to do on that account is to set up 2FA if you haven't yet, or to check on your 2FA. So in the settings of whatever website of this account, you should be able to set up 2FA. Some websites won't provide it, so if that website doesn't provide it, you can skip this. But if it does, you're going to want to set it up. And again, I've made a video in the past on how to set this up, so you can check that out if you want. But the gist of it is, if you've got a thing called a YubiKey or like a U2F key, that would be what I recommend. But again, that costs money and you have to buy it and it has to ship to you. So right now you don't have time to wait for that. Someone else has hijacked your account, so you want to protect everything, lock everything down really quickly. What I'd recommend is downloading a code generator like Authy. You can also use Microsoft authentication. Google has one. There's heaps of ones out there. Authy's a really good one. Again, no sponsorship, I don't know them. This is just what I use. What you want to do is you want to avoid using your phone number or SMS as a 2FA. Now some websites only do SMS 2FA. They only use your phone number. So if that's the case, just use your phone number. It's going to be better than nothing. The third thing you're going to do is you're going to test that the new password and 2FA combo works. If you're on your laptop doing the cleanup, try and sign in on that account on your phone. If you're on your phone, try and sign in on a laptop, that kind of stuff. If you don't have another device, you can borrow a friend's laptop and go into like incognito private browsing mode. But yeah, this is just to make sure that the new password and 2FA setup that you've done for your account actually works. You don't want to be locked out of like yet another account, so you want to test that it works first. And the fourth thing you want to do after you've tested that it all works is to go into settings and sign out of all of your other sessions. And so if potentially the hijacker is in there, then they'll get kicked out, but probably they're not. It's just like a precaution that you can take. Step 3, start the recovery process. If you couldn't get your hijacked account back in step 1, this is a good time to start the official recovery process. This process is going to be different depending on what website the account is on. Like Facebook is going to be different to Twitter, is going to be different to Google. What you're going to do is you're going to search for account recovery process in the website name and follow the instructions on there. This will probably take a while. It'll probably involve like a few back and forth emails. You might have to call someone. It's different for every website. So after you've locked down all your other accounts, after you've protected yourself from any further hijacking, this is the time to start that recovery process. Step 4, how did your password leak? Now that you've locked everything down and you've started your recovery process, this is the time to try and understand how your password got out there, how someone else managed to get a hold of your account so you can stop it from happening ever again. First option, was it a bad password? If your password is one of the most commonly used passwords out there, that's probably how someone got in. Hackers out there, they have little machine programs that they just run to try the most common passwords on a whole bunch of accounts. So you might have just been unlucky. And the way to remedy that is to make really strong passwords. Strong passwords are really long, mostly. That's about it, really. Like they'll tell you, oh, use different characters, use like uppercase, lowercase, numbers. Like you can use all that, but the most important thing is to make it really long. The problem is when you make it really long, it becomes really hard to remember. So this is why I really recommend that you use some kind of password manager, because then you won't have to remember that. You just remember like one really long password and it does the rest for you. Computers, man. Computers are supposed to make our lives easier, not harder, you know? So use that to your advantage. Second, was it a leak somewhere else? Big companies, they get hacked all the time, unfortunately. Like that's just the way of life. And when those companies get hacked, then sometimes all of their accounts and the passwords that they have will get dumped somewhere. It'll be public and anyone out there in the world can use it. So what they do is they'll take a username and password from leaked company A and then they'll try it against company B, because usually people reuse passwords. So that can work really well for them. You can check if some of your accounts have been affected by going to this website called haveibeenowned.com and checking your email address against the database of leaks. Now, if something comes up, then that's probably how someone else got into your account. The key to protecting yourself to this kind of stuff is to make sure that you use a different password for every account. And again, the way I'd recommend managing all of this is to use a password manager. The third way that someone might have gone into your account is if you've been phished. So how this happens is you might get an email that looks really legit and you click a link on the email and it takes you to a page where you have to sign into somewhere. That page is fake, and instead of signing in to like the actual thing you're trying to sign into, you're signing into the hacker's own website and you're giving them your username, email, password combo. This happens to everyone. Like, don't feel bad if you've fallen for one of these things before, because everyone falls for them. Like, they're so common and they get everyone so many times. How you know that you've been phished is when you log into somewhere and then instead of being logged in, you have to log in again. Like, that's when you know that something dodgy is happening. So if that's ever happened to you in the past, and it's happened to me too, then you know it's like, oh, okay, maybe it's time to change my password. And that's what you do. Like whenever something dodgy happens, whenever you think you've accidentally typed your password into the group chat, you just change your password. Like, don't be precious about it. It's not worth the risk of losing your account. So, and that's another reason why password managers are really good and handy, because you can just like regenerate a random password and you don't have to be precious about your passwords. Like before, when I used to have like a password system in my brain, this like really convoluted password system, I'd be really precious with my passwords because it's like, oh, it's so much effort to generate a new password in my brain and remember it for that account. So just use the password manager. Like, you don't have to be precious with your passwords. You just throw one out and reset it, get a new one, and you're all good. The fourth and final way that your password may have gotten leaked is you might have some, I don't know, like spyware on your machine. And like, I wouldn't randomly download antivirus things. Like, just, I wouldn't bother with that because there's so many actual viruses and malware that try and pretend to be antivirus that it's just not worth the risk. Like, one of the most obvious red flags for malware or for spyware out there is if it sounds too scaremongering. Like if you come across some program or app that's like, your computer is insecure, download this to like save yourself. That's when you know it's like, oh, that's a red flag, that's someone trying to scam me. So yeah, like if you're on Windows, just run a scan on Windows Defender. Windows Defender is actually really good. If you're absolutely sure that your password wasn't leaked another way, and you really think that you've got some kind of virus or spyware on your computer, the best thing that you can do is like go through apps that you may have downloaded either illegally or like not through the App Store, and delete and uninstall those. Any browser extensions and add-ons that you may have downloaded that seem a bit dodgy, but honestly, the most common way, and what probably happened, is that your password got leaked somewhere else in like 99% of the cases. What I'm basically trying to say is don't randomly download antivirus stuff, because that's like a really easy way to actually get a virus. Step 5, how to not get hijacked ever again. That was cheesy as I mean, we've basically gone through all the stuff you need to do. The most important things to remember are to use different passwords for all of your accounts. Use the password manager if you can. Set up 2FA on everything that allows you to set up 2FA. Be really careful with weird emails. Emails that sound like way too urgent. Emails that link you to a sign-in page of some kind. Be really careful with installing apps or extensions or programs. If you're downloading illegal stuff, it's probably going to come with some spyware or malware, so just be aware of that. Most importantly is relax. Relax. Having your account hijacked can be really, really scary. I know because I've gone through it before. When one of my accounts first got hijacked, I panicked. I remember this was in the late 90s, early 2000s, but I remember ripping out the Ethernet cord from my computer and making sure I'm disconnected from the internet, and then I go and do a scan, and then I start deleting all of the things. I start using Time Machine and Time Capsule to try and restore to an earlier version of my machine, and then I change all my passwords. I used to panic a lot, and the thing that I've learned is that panicking doesn't help. Having your account hijacked can be super scary, but now you know how to deal with it. And if you've put all these security measures in place, you're probably never going to get hijacked again. You're going to be all good. But even if you do get hijacked again, you know exactly what to do and exactly how to deal with it. So, relax, have a good day, live your best life, stay secure out there, stay safe out there. Don't panic too much, you're gonna be all good. See ya next time. Whenever that might be. not very good at making YouTube videos. They take a long time. This is now an ASMR video. For no reason. Okay, bye.